Hello and welcome back to the channel. Andy here, and welcome to the second video of Porsche month, and welcome to Assetto Corsa as well. Not Project Cars this week. We're going with Assetto Corsa because we are having a look at the car you see on screen in that familiar traditional blue and yellow livery. It is the 91730 Spider. This was the Can-Am car that everybody talks about, that everybody knows about, capable of pushing upwards of 1500 horsepower in qualifying mode from its flat 12 twin turbocharged engine. An absolute monster. Still put out around about 1200 horsepower as well in race trim as well, and we're going to be taking this around a hot lap off the Nordschleife very shortly, and trust me, this took me a number of attempts to get right when we get into it. But quickly, a little bit of history, because it has came up recently within the Grand Tour. James May actually had a look back at the 917 recently, and I was looking at that video going, how did he know what I was going to do? Because I already had this planned. But he was looking at the original 917, which was the car that first of all got Porsche its first of its victories overall at Le Mans in 1970 and 1971 back to back. There was multiple variants of it. It also featured in the film Le Mans, starring Steve McQueen of course as well. That particular car was sold at auction for $14 million in 2017 as well, showing you just how prestigious the marquee is and just how prestigious this car is as well. To such a point though that the 917, when it was derived, actually nearly put the company into financial peril and bankruptcy. It was Ferdinand Pierce that ran along with the 917, wanting to take overall victory, and he basically gambled the company on it, the original 917, and when it came out it was very fast, but it was also extremely unstable. And obviously we've seen different variants over the years with the K and the H for the long tail and the short tail and all that sort of stuff, as they tried to get it right, and finally they did do at Le Mans in 1970, taking the first of those overall victories, and obviously they are still the most successful marquee in Le Mans history with all those wins as well. So this is where it all began when it comes to the Le Mans history, is the 917 in terms of wins. But as I say, we are looking at the absolute beast that was Can-Am series. It was in North America obviously, and it was basically chuck the rule book out the window and do whatever the bloody hell you like. The last couple of years before Porsche really had a go at it, which was with the 91710 previous version, McLaren were dominating. They were actually doing better with their Can-Am series than they were with the F1 cars, having just started up in the years gone by in the 60s with Bruce McLaren. But they were doing so well in Can-Am that people were buying their car. That's where McLaren made most of its money in its early days. But Porsche finally came along in the end, and the first attempt that they made properly at a Can-Am car was the 91710. It was brought out in 1972 to the new World Supercar Championship regulations. Ran a 5 litre V12 as well, modified. It done alright, it's not too bad. But then we get to the one we're on today, that 91730, the blue and yellow Porsche and Audi, ran by Roger Penske. Obviously we all know of Penske racing as well, and Indy cars, and how successful they've been. This was the final official iteration of 917. It's perhaps the most powerful sports car, a lot of people say, that has ever existed. All new bodywork, twin turbocharged, 5.4 litres, race tuned to around about 1200, but in qualifying it was estimated it could do 1580 horsepower. There's only 4 gears as well, so just the mind boggles at this. You know, it dominated the series before the rules were changed. The oil crisis didn't help that at all. It is an absolute beast of a car, and it is available on Assetto Corsa. I had thought about doing the 91710 and using project cars because I'm a wee bit more comfortable with that, but no, I wanted to do this properly. So it is a messy lap. It's not the greatest lap I've ever done, but you are going to see me now attempt to get this car round the Nordschleife and try not to kill myself in the process. But let's get into the car and onto the track and see just how poorly, or good, depending on your view, I managed. So here we are then on the end part of the Nordschleife in the 91730. This is... I've done a bit of practice in this because this car is an absolute beast. We've got 1200 horsepower available to us, and it's just... I'm not used to playing Assetto Corsa either, so it's so different and I'm just struggling in comparison, but we're going to try our best and hopefully I can get this done in the first attempt. So let's have a wee check and go. You're going to see some terrible attempts at turning corners and braking here though, so do have a laugh along with me. Lap record in this thing, on this game, as we cross the light now, is a 16.19, and straight away, fuck it up. Let's go back and try that one again, shall we? Right, let's go. I'm gonna have to short shift my way through first to start with, especially. This thing just wants to bite so badly, and no matter how much I press on the brake, it doesn't seem to be enough. You see the 1200 horsepower just biting through the rear wheels there, and it just didn't want to go. Oh, bloody hell. Might not get too much commentary out of me on this one as I'm driving, because this thing requires a lot of attention. Coming to this tricky part now. I'm going to just shift up to second just to keep the wheels spin down, and you can see there just clipping across that curb was not the thing to be doing. I'm just going to take it nice and easy through here. We're coming up to getting the power down to head up towards the Flugplatz. Car still wanting a step away from me in second gear up to top gear, which is fourth. We're going to hit the brakes and see the car wanted to lift off there over the rise of the crest. Just, can you imagine this back in the 70s though? When it was racing in Can-Am, just absolutely, I'm in a game here for Christ's sake, and it's absolutely terrifying. I think this wants to lift off over places. It's so skitterish, it is so difficult. I'm just going to have to play with the whole slow in, fast out technique that everyone always talks about, but in this car I'm going to have to take it to an extreme, I think, coming down through the valley here. You can see we're already up to 180 miles an hour there, coming up the hill here. This is another tricky part. It turned into the left-hander, done that quite nicely actually for once. And into this part here, very slow. And again, I'm just going to basically tiptoe my way through some of these slower corners. I'm not looking forward to later on in the lap, because there's some parts of this track, as I mentioned last week, with the Carrera RSR, that I am terrible at around here at the best of times, and in this car, in this game, it is going to be frightful how bad it is. I'm just going to get down the gears early here, and at first this is a tricky wee bit as well at the best of times. Down the gears again, this right hander, and I come up the gear early there. Just get off the power slightly, try and avoid the curbs that'll just spit me into the second part of that corner, and I want to get in the power here and just drive through this corner and use the power and the downforce, but it's just so hard. And then again, bang the brakes down into this tricky part. I just can't get the steering lock on the way I'd like it to be. You don't get a calibration option in this game like you do in, say, Project Cars, for example, so you're stuck to whatever the game sets it as. Some cars are a lot easier to do than others when it comes to steering lock. This one is an absolute pain, and you can see I'm struggling to get the power down in second gear there. coming over that crest into the right hander here. I'm going to brake early because this is a tricky corner. Just seems to tighten. It's a bit inviting on the way in. And now we're going to try and open the taps up, and you can see the car want to get sideways. We're going to ignore the lap time not recorded bit because I'm not really giving two damns about that right now. Up in the fourth gear. Thought that was this left-hander here, so I turned in far too early for that. You can see here coming up through the forest and up the hill, and we're coming up to nearly 200 miles an hour in something that was designed in the early 70s. We've got 1200 brake horsepower under our feet. This is just absolutely frightening. If you want to go to the gym and work out, don't bother, get yourself a steering wheel and do this, because this is absolutely insane trying to do this stuff. Hard on the brakes again. Locking up, no ABS, just running wide there because they're locked up. I'm heading up to the carousel to quickly jump into second gear there to avoid spinning the wheels and ending up in the wall. And you can see just trying to keep it into the concrete there. Even if you go around the outside, it's just as tricky. Early shift up to second again, but again the car just wants to step out on you. So you head up the hill, dab of brakes, turn it in. And this is a bit where I really start to struggle, so if I go quiet through here, don't panic. I'm still around. You see the car just wanting to step away, and again, there's an example on the grass and into the wall, but we're just going to push on regardless. Oh, done it again. This is such a hard car. It's got its fun parts there. Don't think this is all just pure, oh, this car's terrible. It's not. It's just such a different style of beast. Always, this is the last 917 really. Dominated Can-Am, then they changed the rules due to the oil crisis as well. This thing, first two races it didn't win, and then it won everything else ever since in Can-Am, and then the series died off. Roger Penske's team were the ones who ran it, and they had exclusive use, so no one else could get their hands on this absolute monster of a car. And I do that every time through there. I always get that wrong. Massive step out there as we try to get the power down. I'm going to jump into second just so I can keep it on a straight line. This is not the cleanest lap you're ever going to see, but I'm going to try my absolute best to get to the end and try and set as best a time as I can. Taking it easy through there, up in the third gear now. We're starting to build up speed. We're getting close to the end of the lap now, thankfully. But this thing is really a test of your wits, your nerves. And as I say, can you imagine this? Back in the early 70s, they had about 400 litres of fuel in to last the race distance in those Can-Am events as well. Flat 12, twin turbochargers. And they're just waiting to whirl away in the background there. We're coming up now to where we can really get on the power. Just got to get through this next couple of corners now. Up to the left. Let it run wide. I'm just going to take it really easy through here. So I just want to make sure I get onto the straight. There we go. Now we're up in the third gear. Now we can really see what 1200 horsepower is like. And look at this. Fourth gear, there's only 4 gears in this box, remember. And the speed is just going to increase and increase and increase. We're already upwards of 210 miles an hour in something designed back in the 70s after they had not long sent man to the moon, for crying out loud. Hitting 215, 216 as we come over the crest of the car. Hitting the rev limiter, but we're now coming down the hill, and I'm going to get off the throttle because braking into here is an absolute minefield at the best of times, and in this car it is absolutely friggin' ridiculous to get it slowed down. I want to try and get round the line and get across that line before the 7-minute mark finishes, but coming into the final corner, can we do it? I think we did just get there. Like it was a 6:59, only just sneaked under. It was a scruffy lap, which is not really befitting of a car of this history behind it, and you know, obviously just incredible car, and the amount of power through it is just unbelievable. That was 6:59 something. I'll put the time in the description below along with the time from the Carrera RSR last week. It's obviously not showing up because I am validated, but with this car I'm just happy to get the lap time in, because this thing is an absolute beast of a car. It's so tricky to drive. You can imagine the absolute balls of steel that the drivers must have had driving this thing in the 70s in Can-Am. It's no wonder that after the first 2 races it dominated the series before being banned, basically. But that is basically my tribute. Rather than going through the normal 917, as mentioned earlier on, winning Le Mans, I thought I would go with the final one, the beast that is 1200 plus horsepower and race trim, this 91730. I do hope you've enjoyed this other video here today for the second week of Porsche month. Be back next week looking at another Porsche legend. It is the Group C monster this time round. It is the 962 Le Mans winner, held the lap record round here for a number of years, remember, with Stefan Beloff. So we're going to be trying that one next week and seeing what we can do. I'm going to do that one on Project Cars too, because I'll feel a bit more comfortable doing it that way. But if you have enjoyed this video, do hit likes, do hit subscribe, sorry, hit the like button as well, comment below any memories or thoughts you have about this car. I hope you have enjoyed the video, but again, my name is Andy, thank you for joining me, and until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Ta-ra.